to Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and it's a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
With MakingStarWars.net.
What's happening? I'm Jason Ward from Making Star Wars, and this is Rob, who sounds like Fat Bastard.
How to do? Get in my belly.
Yeah, that was
so good.
I was listening to George Lucas interviews, and I came across him saying that Ewan McGregor sounds like Fat Bastard. George Lucas out of context is too much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that could be a whole game show. Just taking audio clips of George Lucas out of context, right?
Yeah. Andor.
Oh, it's so good.
But
So
yeah,
good.
so pretty so far has been a very quiet news day overall, but there was a new Andor
for
poster.
Star Wars people.
If
If you're one of those guys that likes to collect top secret documents in your basement, no, it's been very eventful.
Well, I mean, you know,
But,
every now and then I just want to get Lindsey Graham to call for Civil War for me, you know, and stuff like that. Hey y'all, it's Civil War. Come on, let's do it.
Hey, yeah.
All right,
in and out.
all right. It's skins versus cut off shorts. Here we go.
You know he still wears those 80s shorts, right? The real high ones. You know he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But
Why, Rob? Why would he wear it? What are you trying to imply?
I am trying to imply he's a closeted self-hating homosexual because he is.
No.
And that's what
No.
Oh no,
Jason,
not Lindsey Graham.
hold on now. I'm a fake progressive, and you know, as a fellow fake progressive, you all know when you're a fake progressive, you have to do the fake progressive dance.
Oh, okay.
Do the dance. Do the fake progressive dance. Shake your ass. Shake your fake progressive ass. Right. So like, you gotta do it. It's you gotta do it every day. First thing. Like the Japanese workout. You know.
I saw Fulcrum's site and Twitter's are gone. They are, and I don't know what. I spoke to them. They are okay. They are just going to go do their own thing for a bit. So, you know, just kind of is what it is. And I wish them well. I hope that they jump back on and are around and stuff like that. But, you know, let's just, you know, they went and had a good couple of weeks of pure fire. So, you know, clap. And then we'll see. Maybe they'll be back. I don't know. I think they're just taking a break. But I don't know.
I like to think, Jason, that they saw my Rob's wrong bit yesterday and they just couldn't compete and quit.
Were you their source? Was that?
Well,
wait a minute.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
True. No, but I hope they do come back and run the old Fulcrum site and do their Fulcrum biz, you know. And then Meg says, "Hey Jacob and Roberta, how's it going, Star Wars Greg?"
You know Jason's from Southern California because he said Roberto.
Roberto.
He didn't go Roberto.
Roberto.
Yeah.
Roberto with his tacos. Who wants a taco on Tuesday? So. Yeah, but
now I want tacos, you bastard. You fat bastard.
Can we play it one more time? Can we do it one more time? I think we could do it.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay.
To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and it's a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
It's always funny. It's never not funny. Yeah.
Oh man.
But
I would love to be stuck in line
on Ewan, by the way, not on Alec Guinness.
Yes, I would love to be stuck with Lucas in line for like I don't know, like a Flavor Flav concert or something. Just something that like he didn't mean to go, but he's going, and then you're getting his takes. So good.
Yeah. Well, my wife keeps saying white people can't dance. Well, I'm gonna go and teach her. No, George, just stay home, George.
I did all the Twi'lek moves before on set. I would do them, and I had the ILM artist direct the other chick to do it. Yeah.
So do the Cabbage Patch. I almost bought them. I almost bought Cabbage Patch Kids.
My barber now only wants me to talk, and the George Lucas was like, he was watching the cast. I'm like, you gotta stop watching the cast. Like, it's not good for me. It's certainly not good for my barber.
No. But but anyways, as the truth says, damn, that sucks. These Acolyte leaks have kept us busy before Andor. Yeah, I know, right? Like I said, I think they did a good job, and hopefully they come back, and if they ever want to do anything, they could always hit me or Meg, up or the Discord or whatever, and be like,
dude,
bam!
They can tell Bespin in 3 years from now he'll release the info, so they're all good. Look, what?
Oh, Bespin's they gave Bespin all the info on episode 0 of Acolyte. He just hasn't got to it yet.
I'm not saying it, but I'm just someone's girlfriend may have said Bespin knows something or two about delayed gratification. I'm just
yeah,
just a little bit.
They call him an edgelord, and not because of his comedy. Planet Fitness.
Comedy.
Yeah. So, anyways, the old Andor poster here. I like it for a Photoshop thing. It's pretty damn good, I gotta say. I keep thinking that the guy who says Andor has a robot hand when I see those gloves and the gun, like from far away, like when it's real small. But right here we got
like this
9/11.
This is the classic like marketing department is like, see, it's like Struzan. Look, it's got the big guy and a bunch of little guys, and you put the box around it.
It's got wrinkles because Drew Struzan's always fucking around, crumpling it up and having coffee on it.
Yeah. As far as like put 50 photo bash people on a poster go, it's fine. It's cool.
I gotta be honest with you.
I think in the 80s this would have been a Star Tours exclusive. You know what I mean?
You ever dated a woman with this hair that didn't try to spank your butt? Because I'm saying Mon Mothma, she's spanking some butts.
You have a far more adventurous life.
I'm just letting you know. To be honest with you, I think I'm more like this guy right here without the gun, just waiting for my McDonald's to come with the hood on.
Yeah.
And check out Saw though. Saw's looking cool, man. Saw's looking like he's ready to go fucking dancing. You know what I mean? He's
gonna go do the fake progressive dance. That's what Jason. I told you. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
He's going shake his.
The character right here next to the A in Andor, she's in the trailer, and but we haven't really seen her do much or have any part yet. So I'm curious if she and the woman on the bottom, we see her sneak around. So I'm curious what these two are up to.
I'm not a fan of Nolanizing every title out there. But I do feel, man, a better name for this would have been The Rebellion Begins, and the Kenobi would have been The Dark Times. Because this way, you fucking know what you're watching.
I think you and I agree that it basically any title is better than
the character.
This is Star Wars Jesse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Ever since Solo,
Bobby.
I'm like, well, have they learned nothing from this? Can we stop?
I go character recognition. I like the Captain America. And then they're like, oh, well, all our numbers are saying people know they recognize characters. And that's about it. They're all really fucking stupid paint and chip eaters. And that's kind of like where we're at with titles.
In my defense, they taste good. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all I got. That's all I got.
They are the secret recipe to Lay's chips. But
I always feel like if your title needs to have a subtitle that explains what it is, it's like just call it what it is. Just let people know what it's generally about.
Right.
So it's like I wouldn't want episode 9 Ray, you know? It's like that. All right, but it's got episode 9, so you know what? It doesn't matter what the title. Yeah, well, I mean, you could be a little bit more. You know, like Star Wars allows you a little more theatricality than just, you know, if it was Star Wars BMO, then, you know, maybe I'd break a rule too for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. When you like look at like that poster that we had, you know, the other one for Rogue One, that real like basic poster, like it's that kind of idea that comes off as, no, we're being classy, we're just being very minimalist, but in actuality it's really kind of cowardice. It's really like, we don't want to do too much, because if we do, you're going to criticize it. So if we say that we're being basic, you can't say we're basic. We are being basic.
I don't agree with that. I get what you're saying.
No, that's
the pessim.
I'm with you.
But I've been in those rooms, those meetings
disagree.
where those styles sit on a board. They just go to Pinterest. They just, in a year or two, they're just going to AI bot all their layouts. But for now, they go to Pinterest. They pull up a bunch of fucking things they've done in the past and things that they like. They put it on a wall. And whoever's flavor of the month fucking art director for that month goes, I like this look. And then that's what they do. And they just pulled up the Mossy. Was it Moss? He's the guy who did all those original Star Wars at Moss. Moss something. You guys will.
Yeah,
you guys will tell me.
that's all I know it as Moss.
He's on the Commodores, like Ollie Moss, like Ollie Moss on the Commodores. Yeah, I'm blurring it all together. It's how my brain works. So like, you know, who needs Alzheimer's? So they just look at those Ollie Moss posters and they go, let's do that. And you know, again, I look at that Ollie Moss style poster from Rogue One and I'm like, I get what you're doing. We can make some adjustments to this. Like, you know, we can make, and here they're like doing what they think is the Struzan thing. I just, you know, it bugs me when folks do that, because it's like Struzan would never put 12 fucking people on a poster. You know what I mean? They all, like, when you squint, they all look like he's growing like little pus heads out of his fucking arm or something. Like it's just one of those things where you need solid color design to pull them back into something. He would always add like a secondary light source or something so that they're colored, like maybe they're being underscored by red where the logo is, right? And then he might be blue and purple or some shit like that. Like, and they don't do any of that. They just throw a million colors in there, or in this case, no color, right? Like it's almost tonal. So it's basically, and that's to imply that it's serious. Boba Fett had the big orangey posters because it's all about fun in the sun. You know, like bro, I've heard this so many times, you know, like, and you just sitting there like, and they call it Star World. I'll never forget when I heard them use the term Star World. I'm just like, what world am I in today? Like,
our world.
I'm going in and out. Yeah. When people in charge of Star Wars called it Star World, you just want to walk out and, you know, into the street and end it.
Well,
so,
you know, I mean, it is Star World. Technically, they're not wrong.
It is.
I mean,
is.
Technically,
So,
it's right.
This is fine. You know,
the other, I like the other poster too, the one that they handed out at the Andor screening I went to and didn't get one for. Very salty.
They actually had a secondary light source, right? Had like the sunset-y. Yeah.
Well, it was fun in the sun, Rob. Is what is my point.
Yeah.
It was definitely fun in the sun.
Well, there's a shirt. We're gonna have to just do a blue. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get it in there. That's what she said. God, I hate trying to use a trackpad to bring something all the way across the screen. It's like really difficult sometimes. There we go. So yeah, that's the first one that we had. And
right.
I want to laugh at Planet Fitness because he says that looks like an I, not an O in the Andor poster. It is an I. His name is Andor, D-I-R.
If they were trying to go for that, because I know he's just being like a snarky little bitch, but if no, I love you, but
it looks better
if
on
they
this
were
one.
trying to do that. If they were trying to do that, like somehow hide an I in there, right? Like passive aggressively, then they should have taken, you know, that thing they do on the Death Star, especially like in Jedi, where it's like a circle and they got like the two dots and they had that little pattern. They should have put that right there. so you could sort of get more of an eye out of it. It's an I and an O, you know.
I was gonna say the most horrible idea is to put a little tiny Death Star above the eye. That's the dot.
Look, that's the one I would have put on the wall and would have been told take it off. Like, it's not funny. Like, yeah. I was that guy. Just we got 20 designs. One of them, you got to give them all the options, and they're like, "You're just being a fucking dick."
Yeah.
Like, yes. But it is an option.
It's true. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, probably not, but there's a chance like the first one is Junk World, right? This is I can't remember what Junk World's called, but the Junk World that Andor grows up on, and I think the second one is Coruscant, because look at the background. You could see like the Coruscant like skyline in the background, right. And I wonder if we're actually going to get to see a moon on Coruscant, which would be kind of cool. We've never actually seen anything.
Is that smoke to imply like shit on Coruscant being blown up, like pipe bombs or something, or is that to imply his hometown was burnt down or something?
I think it's saying the Saudis did it. I think it's blaming the Saudis for 9/11. I mean, I don't know.
Probably did though. Like, you know, like I'm just saying.
They did.
Like, I'm just,
they did. That's why. But
you know, you put out enough conspiracy theories, you're bound to be right sometime. But you know.
That's fair. But hey, how's it going, Dr. Kindness? How are you, dude? And
Darth Kindness. That should have been episode 9 if Lucas had directed. Hey, it's Darth Kindness.
Rick Joe, if this show ends up being dumb by some magical reason, it's really dumb. That's what we'll call it. And
do you think the Oral Knots, when they do their spoof of this show, they'll call it Andor?
Andor.
Andor. He was the biggest nerd. No, you know, that's why he's on his own. Everyone makes fun of him. He was a pocket protector. You know?
I loved going to the Harry Potter movies and being like, hey, look at all these dumb dorks around here, and like the kids in line getting really mad at me. They really hated it. They had no sense of humor. And then they would sit in front of me and pretend to be British, and they would really get me back because I'm still mad about it. Like, they got under my skin so bad, I'm still mad about it. But
they all hate Harry Potter now. It's just crazy. Right, they hate J.K. Rowling and all that shit, but they're so mad at you. Like, that's what's weird.
No, what do you? I wonder if are they able to divorce the creator of the series from the art, or do they just disavow Harry Potter entirely?
They disavow Harry Potter entirely.
Yeah. That's weird. In a way, it's weird. I get the hurdle. I get the like difficulty every now and then.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're big Cthulhu fans.
Yeah,
they're big Lovecraft fans, Jason.
But they don't.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
because they're idiots, Jason.
They don't.
Because there wasn't a big Twitter trend about it.
Well, but also reading Lovecraft is boring as fuck, and they aren't really doing that. They're just going, oh, you don't know what it is.
What was the name of his pet? Just curious.
No. Ask
Shia LaBeouf. Shia knows. Guaranteed.
Wait, let's start calling Shia Puppy Socks. Old Puppy Socks.
He's a mutt. He knows.
Mutt Puppy Socks.
There you go.
Man. Professional Gamer says there should really be a series on the Old Republic. Star Wars is getting too comfortable with familiar things. However, Andor seems to have a unique vibe. Yeah, I think that's what the magic of like what Gilroy told them when they were going to do Starsky and Hutch, or no, it wasn't Starsky. It was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with K2SO and Andor. He was like, no, you can't do that. Like, here's how you do it. Here's what you should be doing. And then that balloons into the series. And that's exactly how the live action television shows need to be looked at.
Because he understands geopolitical intrigue, you know, and he's not just thinking like, let's pare it down to some fun 70s fucking reference, you know, Paper Moon, Starsky and Hutch, or Butch Cassidy and blah, 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 Color of Money, you know, like, or hear me out, you know what I mean? A lot of real serious shit went down, and there's like a fucking appetite for it. And if you're gonna directly tie it into a movie that like dovetails into that, or is the tail end of that, maybe let's not set it up with the goofy, plucky adventures.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I ultimately agree with the let's take the Paper Moon concept and make it work because it's a good story and it works with families. I see where they're going with that, but when you get into Rebellion, that is inherently political.
Every time, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a formula to then stamp on every fucking thing,
100%. Yeah.
Let's give him a baby K2SO.
Oh, yeah. What if K2 was like a small droid at first?
Well, K2 was actually the code for the grade he was in when he found him. So it was a K2. His name is Esso, And he had a brother named S.A., and we're going to get real racist right now, but just bear with me.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with saying S.A. is not racist, S.A.?
It is when George Lucas does it. Trust me, man. Like, you don't want to see his Cheech and Chong impersonation.
Remember in the 80s in Southern California when somebody would say, "What's up, SA?" There'd always be a teacher that would go, "I don't know, book report." That's what I was here in school.
No.
We started that in school.
No, I can see that, but I never had that experience.
Yeah, it was I heard it several times. Star Wars Make says Andor will be one of those shows that you will have to turn the volume all the way up for when people talk and then all the way down when the action is happening. Fuck, Meg, you are 100% correct. Kids are going to
Dude, that already happens to me now on just normal shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why sound mixes are all fucked up on TVs. Like, and I run it through, like I told you, on a PC, right? And even on my PC, I like force a mono output for fucking shit because I just don't want to deal with this. And even then, the mixes are like these fucking dicks, man. They put it real low. I'm not saying like go the Dark Knight Rises way where they put fucking Bane's voice in front of every fucking thing just so you idiots can fucking hear him.
Yeah.
But like certainly there has to be a real balance for normal. Like, give us the 7.1 version and then give us the fucking Rob idiot version. We just want to hear it,
No, when I totally agree. Like, if I'm going to go and I'm going to turn 5.1 on, that's when I'm going to be like turning that shit up really fucking loud. And I want to feel bass tickling my nutsack. But when I don't do that, I don't need you to try to do the stereo mix. Like, let's pretend like this is going to get some kind of drama out. No, it's not. I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn on the fucking subtitles and I'm not going to hear any of your sound mix instead. Like, that's the fucking trade-off. And they make me mad. They make me so mad.
And every studio's guilty of this. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Even Better Call Saul, like sometimes it's like, oh man, it's gonna turn it up. What is with these people?
I had a dream last night that I lived in that universe and I was with the Chicken Man. And he kept going, "You are making me mad, Mr. Warden." I'm like, "I'm not trying to. I'm trying to do what you want." And he's like,
"You're making me seven." He goes, "You are making me a blend of herbs and spicy."
Yeah,
special blend of herbs and spicy. Shut up.
And then he was like, "You will know what the problem is after you organize my briefcase." And he gives me his briefcase, and you know what's inside of it? Adult coloring books. That was my dream, and I'm just like, this guy's too fucking weird. Like, you
have the best dreams, man. Maybe it's because I never did drugs. My dreams are I'm working.
You know what?
I was dreaming about working last night. That's what I do. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Then I wake up and I'm like, did I do that work or not? And it's not done. I'm like, fuck, I dreamt. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you work at a program and it crashes and you lose all your work. That's what my dreams are like. I wake up, I'm like, I have to do that again? It's not actually done? Oh, man.
I was thinking about something you said one time, like a few weeks ago, I was going to bring up. Like, you were like, oh, like this band did this because like they were on drugs or like they did psychedelics or whatever. And I started thinking back to it and I was like, think about like every band I was ever in where we were like, yeah, let's take mushrooms and fucking jam and see what happens. You know what happened? Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing good. It's totally like, I actually think it's a huge fallacy for the most part.
I'm not in terms of playing instruments. I'm sure it's all nonsense. I would say those crazy lyrics that come out of the 70s is because people were writing to either either they were high or they were writing to people who knew they were going to be high when they listened to the music, is what I'm trying to say.
My takeaway was they must just be on drugs as a lifestyle entirely the whole time, and it never ends. And then you just eventually do end up with some hodgepodge of insanity. But yeah.
And I love it. I love it. It's like in my top 5 albums of all time, but like the first album to Stone Temple Pilots, right?
Oh yeah,
them lyrics, it's a hodgepodge of fucking who knows what.
That's why that's why I don't like them. That's why them like the band itself was a good study in what sort of, you know, Seattle grunge was aiming for in a pop way, but that Scott Weiland guy's lyrics are complete fucking poser dog shit. Flies in the Vaseline we are.
Yeah.
Juxtaposed against throw down your umbilical noose so I could climb right back. It's just, they just doesn't have
I really can't tell the difference. As a visual guy, I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. Like it doesn't.
Hey, wait, I got a new complaint. There's just like there's a certain like cynical sarcasm and then a visual intensity, but Kurt Cobain was a visual artist. Like his visual art is as good as his music, and it should be celebrated more. That's what drives me crazy whenever they put out a new Nirvana thing. They're like, let's put a picture of Kurt Cobain in a suit, or let's just make the cover black and just say Nirvana, when the guy is done like
you're gonna hate this
painting.
But I want you to know, in the early days of Crash Bandicoot 4, and I'll show it to you because I can't show it here because it's still under NDA.
Fair enough.
But I'll show you. I drew him in a Kurt Cobain outfit. I did one of every 90s thing you could imagine, and one of them was the classic Kurt Cobain outfit, you know?
But I am also of the opinion that if you blow your head off and leave everybody behind and quit life, whatever they do with your image and your art, you know, you kind of give up your rights to it.
I was hoping people would forget about that and just think it was nostalgic. But you're right.
I mean, like, you know, Meg says that Skeleton Crew is a good name, and I'm with you there. I am glad that it is the. Is that the first fucking title since besides the episode ones? Well, we got Rogue One, and we had Solo, then we had 9, then The Mandalorian's kind of his name, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of is his name. And
I feel like they went with that naming convention based on the Stranger Things reference, right? Like it implies a premise, you know what I mean, more than like any specific character and or timeline. I mean, it's a setting. It's the Skeleton Crew. It's Stranger Things are happening, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I
like it. I agree. I'm not shitting on it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think because I have my assumptions as to what it means. It classically means a minimal crew, but then it sounds spooky. But I'm curious if the show is spooky or not.
I got that spooky song stuck in my head. Damn you.
Yeah.
Damn. Spooky.
Because
you're the one.
If it is too overtly Star Wars Stranger Things, I do think they're kind of fighting an uphill battle on that one. I think that, like, I don't know if Stranger Things fans will embrace it or feel like, no, fuck you. You are Stone Temple Pilots to Nirvana. You know what I mean? Which Stranger Things would be Nirvana in that instance. So, but Rob's there like, hey, it's all good to me, man.
I almost guarantee you it won't be anything like Stranger Things. It's just to imply kids have Amblin entertainment like adventures in the vein of Stranger Things. Right?
Yeah, which is, I mean,
although if they do give us that Sith ghost that was in the Force Awakens concept art, I'm not gonna fucking complain.
Yeah.
You know,
the Star Wars universe is like a huge opportunity to, I mean, even if it was Scooby-Doo in space, that's an opportunity right there. Scooby-Doo in space is inherently a fun concept. You know what I mean? Like, just generally speaking, like Rick and
Unless you're
Morty.
Zaslav, then you're like, fucking hate Scooby-Doo.
Oh, let's get rid of it. Let's sell it all off.
Let's give it to Hulu.
Oh, not wide enough. Cancel it. But that's kind of
not thumb enough is what it really means.
Yeah,
just look more like a thumb. You know
what?
Like, all gotta look like thumbs now.
100%.
100%.
No, but that if that is where it's going, it's because right now it sounds, the way it's kind of been sold officially is more Lost in Space. And Lost in Space is a good thing, but it's like, I hope there's like spins on the adventures that are, I hope some of them do go down spooky paths, but not entirely. Not always. Sometimes just mysteries. Because like the Star Wars universe, though, it's like it would be like in Rick and Morty, when they go someplace, it's always an alternate dimension version of something. So you're always lost for a minute and then you laugh at it, right? But in Star Wars, it's kind of the same thing, but just not comedic necessarily. And so
overtly comedic. Although Dumbledore comes out and says his best Dr. Smith impersonation, I'm gonna clap. Like standing ovation from Rob. Like you did it. You did the thing, man. You did it.
What if Willow and Skeleton Crew run side by side, and in the last episodes of both of them, it's the kids from Skeleton Crew landing on the Willow planet? What?
And then we deepfake Wilford Brimley onto fucking one of them dudes, and we get it all back. We're taking it all back, Jason. Taking them all back.
It's our time.
It's our time.
Ask, why do you think they push Andor? Are they just scared of Game of Thrones, or are they worried
they're scared.
Overshadow She-Hulk? I think it's a combination of not wanting to step on their own toes for having new content, so they separated out from She-Hulk, but also in terms of coverage, you have the Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show and you have Game of Thrones, both going on at the same time, and so you have a lot of stuff to share. So I think just by kicking it out, they had everything to win and nothing to lose. At the end of the day, whether, I don't know if it's scared as much as maybe it's like, you know what, this is a smarter way to go.
I would say this, and I agree with you, but I would say this is the first time up until this point, I don't think any of these studios has ever had to treat a TV show release window in the way they would treat a theatrical release window.
Right.
And I think now that you got this kind of money being thrown at TV shows with known IP, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars, right? All of that happened at the same time. They're going to have to start being considerate, like toward one another, not just Disney in general. They're all gonna have to start considering their TV show release windows in the same way they currently consider theatrical, because none of them want to be like, oh, we put $300 million into a TV series, but we didn't really, because it's a TV, we don't have to market it because it's a streaming. We just go on Twitter, but there's only so much fucking Twitter you can do when there's fucking everyone's talking about 6 different fucking shows, and that ain't what they want. So now they're in this weird position, Jason. It hasn't been brought up yet, but I guarantee you they're all fucking stressing. How much do we have to spend on marketing now? You know what I mean? Has this turned into just theatrical release without theatrical financial return?
Yeah.
And I think Disney's trying to they were just like, well, let's get out of the way of it. Let's see if we can just hide in September, right? Classic theatrical movie move when you don't want to compete with the big summer, noise. Which is not the same thing. It's just that there's noise now because there's 2 other fucking things or 3 other things, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that's only I think that's gonna buy them like maybe a year or 2. But eventually they're all going to figure out their own little game. And there's nowhere to hide other than make less shit or market it in the same way you have to market these films. And at that point, they're better off just doing a film. There's going to be this weird crisis moment, dude, where they realize, oh, we can't just use streaming to supplement theatrical release, because everyone's doing that. And
that's it. I was on Santa's show and I said exactly what you just said. Like,
Oh yeah,
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I'm with you in that.
I don't watch that progressive shit. So
Right,
I'm a
right.
fake progressive. So
No, I
sorry.
get it. I get it. I
Giving
mean,
away
it's-
toys, ridiculous.
I mean, it's all
charge
it's all liberal
Charge
talking
those little
points.
fuckers. Charge them like a real
Social-
capitalist would, Jason. You know.
Which, but basically, yeah. Like in theaters, you had to make room for one another and sort of do some kind of compromise so everybody wins, and you're not just cannibalizing one another's products all the time. We could all win or we could all lose, kind of the idea. We could all win. That's more of what they go. They have a corporate monopoly. They don't want to drop it. And essentially that's where we are with streaming. And before I forget, Star Wars Santa's father was in a terrible accident. If you could help him out, there are links on MakingStarWars.net to go over to the GoFundMe for his dad. They have to do all these renovations to the house just so we could get around. He's not doing super great, but he's better than he was, but he's not doing great. So any help, a dollar helps. So if you got it, cool. By the way, somebody just sent me a post at the super shitty bullshit fucking Star Wars Newsnet mouthpiece Star Wars Leaks saying, I heard not long ago about Fulcrum. Okay, Fulcrum Leaks has been shut down. I heard not too long ago that they got a bit of a spanking by Lucasfilm. What do you mean? Was it her? Did Mon Mothma come and do it? Because that's who I would suspect it is.
I just have that, like, we just gotta, someone needs to gift that scene from The Secretary and put Fulcrum right over fucking, Robert California's fucking face. And then just Caffeine Kennedy's back behind, all hopped up on whippuccinos and just
Caffeine Kennedy. I heard not too long ago
Spankachinos. How about Spankachinos? I like that.
They got a bit of a spanking by Lucasfilm, and well, what do you know? All of their sites and social medias are now taken down. These are the guys who've been leaking Tales of the Jedi and Acolyte stuff. For those who don't know, this is just your standard Reddit bullshit. By the way, they made a choice to step away. They weren't spanked. They didn't get whipped. They weren't branded. You know what a spanking from Lucasfilm is? Yeah, your sources aren't very good. Your sources aren't very good. That they call you.
I have a list of cartoons to make, and stealing Star Wars Newsnet is the one. I want to do like the hamburger, robble, right? They're just mad that they couldn't steal more of that fucker's news. You know what I mean? And then claim it as their own shit inadvertently, just sort of like, we didn't steal it, but we posted it as though we were actually posting it. We're not really crediting. Rumor sources say we've been hearing bullshit. Because that's how I fucking found, I realized who you were was the day I realized they were stealing your shit. I was like, oh, no, we didn't steal it. We reposted it. Nah, you didn't credit. I had to do tracking work on that shit. Like that, it took some effort on my end, I had to go to Google and repaste the fucking thing to figure out who came up with it first. Yeah. It was fucking shicey.
And it's just like the old corporate monopolizers. We could all win, or we could cannibalize one another. And they haven't learned. They think it's Highlander and there can be only one. That said, the stuff that they're saying about Ahsoka's and Naruto and Fulcrum Leaks, that's just not true. That's not what happened. Don't buy into any of that Reddit fucking, well, I heard, that's just not what happened. We were in communication with them. They told us they were going to step away. They fucking stepped away. They didn't give a big send off. They didn't give a big fucking teary goodbye. They didn't want to. So,
how I just disappear from the show one day and I don't give any explanation? It's like that.
I'm going to show up at your house looking with the camera, demanding answers. So
I know how lazy you are. You will not do that.
You don't know. You don't know how far I'll go for a joke. I'll go pretty far for a joke.
I would make that same bluff, so I believe it. There's a reason we get along.
Star Wars makes us
right.
Rob would make a good Cobb Vanth. Maybe his brother Rob Vanth.
I wish.
Rob Vanth air conditioning.
I cannot grow those bangs. I wish. I look at that hair and I'm like, that's That's the better Rob. That's the Rob my wife deserves, you know?
I have some
have
friends who are really big podcasters, and they go to some parties in LA, and they're both pretty ladies, I'd say. And they meet him, and they're like, he's like talking about how he's like the nicest guy, you know, and all that stuff. And at this point, I was just enamored with him from Deadwood, that it was the Deadwood guy. And then they will text me pictures of them with him now, and you know, and he's in Star Wars, but all they do is talk about how hot he is. It kind of makes me mad. I'm starting to kind of hate him.
No gaggle of women have ever been like, look how hot Rob. It's just never happened. Maybe right when I was born, my aunts, my grandma, and they were all in the room. Look how pretty he was, and then took him home.
To be fair, to be fair, it was a gay woman going, Rob's good looking.
right. She has an impression of what good-looking guys might be, and she ain't wrong.
You know,
like Cobb Vanth is a good-looking guy, but I don't fit the bill. I'm sorry. I appreciate it, but I could never live up to that. Like,
I gotta say, man, you're a Star Wars 10. Okay, and Star Wars, you're a Star Wars 10, friend.
Look, from a deodorant standpoint, I'm a fucking 20. Like, I shower before the podcast. Think about that. Like, fucking nothing. I'm gonna be honest, folks. Like, there's nothing stinkier than a convention. Like, I've been to concerts. You know what I mean? I've been to small group fucking like mosh pit style shit. Nothing stinks more than a nerd convention of any kind. I don't understand why, other than they just don't fucking bathe. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gross. I have a very weak stomach. I've literally gagged. Anyways, Star Wars Make says, someone clip what Jason just said. I don't know what I said, but I'll say all kinds of things. Tweet a clip. Come in my face. Shit on my chest. I'll give you $1.
Lindsey Graham.
Somebody give me some peanut butter because I want a Lindsey Graham cracker.
Yeah, I imagine he loved that Teddy Grahams commercial in the 80s.
He's put some chocolate on my little titties and let's start an insurrection. S'mores.
Teddy Graham.
S'mores, y'all. S'mores, y'all.
Yeah. I love Elvis and I love animal crackers. Now I get both, and they're named after me. You can see it.
Yeah. Okay. What did Meg say? What Meg? What is this? Even in the clip they posted to YouTube, it's so quite inaudible. Yeah, Cassian Andor, the Empire is fucking. I can't even read what you're saying, but point taken, Meg. Point taken. Ralph Wiggum's voice. I make posters now. I can't actually do Wiggum's voice. I can't do any voice. Skeleton 2 is a reference to what Cara Dune said in chapter 12. Masks are not real. It's a fake. Let Biden smell my hair. You might say they're running up
something erection. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm obviously a big music fan and weird music fan and stuff like that. And I was like, my daughter's really into music, and I was like, well, I try not to just like give her, dude music. So I try to pick out like all kinds of interesting female artists for her over the years. And she's about 4 years old. She was really into Kate Bush when she was like 4. And now she like goes to school and people are like, Penny knows all about music. Penny's really cool with music. So I made my daughter into the cool music girl because they know Kate Bush now in the elementary school. And
you should give her that avocado TikTok I sent you.
Yeah, no, I showed it to her.
I normally don't like that kind of shit, but I thought it was pretty good for some dumb reason. They got me on that one.
Yeah, my crowning achievement as a music dad was when her friend was over to go swimming, and they wanted to listen to Kate Bush, and I put it on, and the friend's like, "What is this even about?" And she's like, "Well, she's making a deal with God so that way she could understand her husband." And I was like, "Yeah, that's my daughter. That's my 7-year-old." She always asks me, "Dad, what is the song about?" So I think she'd be a little poetry person. Superfry 401 says Andor looks cool and all, but I'm really on the edge of my seat waiting for a Star Wars a Wade story. Would you say you're wading in water for it? Because I would agree with that. Yeah. Poor Wade. I'll never forget Wade. I mean, sometimes I think about Wade and I think why.
If that's the fact that so many people do shows that series, it's problematic. It needs some tweaking. It needs a little work.
Just never forget Wade. I still got that.
In like a 15-second fucking memoriam. Like, where'd he go? What happened? Who was that?
You know, it's about.
It almost felt like the stream was loading. Like, more than a memory thing, but all right, you know.
Skeleton Crew is going to be Goosebumps for Disney Plus. Maybe a Goonies beat, but I wouldn't be against that. You know what I mean? I think it would be. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like Goonies did a good job of it's still funny. Like I'm fucking 43 and I still watch Goonies. It still.
You want my
holds
hot
up.
take on this?
Yeah.
Right. And I just was thinking about this the other day. I just was like, I don't even know if I bring this shit up, but like, I'm gonna be honest, man. This should probably be their next film. Like Star Wars Skeleton Crew, you know, blast that fucking Star Wars logo music, get a new generation of Jedi kids out there, give them a whole fucking thing to do. Mm-hmm. Like set during a time period people fucking know a little bit about, want to see more of. Like it just, you know, you got room for a Grogu cameo if you need it, or a Mando cameo if you need it, you know? Like, it really should. Like, more than, till they get like a new serious trilogy thing. You know what I mean? Like, this would be... And they got a director who just came off a $2 billion, plus another $1 billion film before that, plus a $700 million film before. I don't know, man. Like, it just should be the movie they're making.
Yeah. I would have loved to have had an Amblin Goonies style Star Wars movie in the theater, and that would be fun. But
Jedi Master Donner, you know.
I said but. I said but because I was looking at Mark Stevenson's prostate massage. Laugh out loud. But there, I said it again. I think that if one of these characters, you know, these are like younger actors who they obviously have in the roles. So there's a chance though that we could have one of these characters spin off into a theatrical thing as time goes on. If one of them is a breakout, if it's not, you know, terrible. If the kids, you know, when you're working with young people too, you don't really know what to expect. They might be terrible. They might start really good and get really terrible. One of them might take off and get super famous during the ramp up to this and then become Shia LaBeouf. Who knows what's going to happen? That's the fun of following it. Will Vader be in it? I don't think so. I mean, I'm just kind of guessing that like when it comes to the big boys, I don't think we're going to see Vader in it. But I mean, you could always.
I think it takes place in the nether regions. You know what I mean? Like the whatever, the other regions, whatever. Like it.
I don't want Vader.
It's like Star Trek Voyager. Yeah, I don't.
You know, like if we're just you know having if this is about cooks and stuff in the Star Wars universe. I feel like it kind of like goes somewhat against that to some degree. Although I would not mind seeing Vader in the Senate. It would just be kind of badass if that dude was like in the Senate, fucking intimidating people. Just like they just
in Andor or Skeleton Crew?
In Andor.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Skeleton.
In Skeleton Crew, Vader's done. He's dead. That's post Return of the Jedi. He's the Force Ghost, Anakin.
Right.
Force Ghost Hayden Christensen by that point. So
that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think anyone we know is showing up in that one.
Yeah. So Jyn Erso looks so much different in this series. I know when I took my dad to see Rogue One, he was like, well, they can't do a series with her. And I was like, Dad, they're doing a series with the guy she's hugging when they died. Like, they can totally do a series with her. And I would almost imagine if they do go in depth more with the partisans, maybe they will. Will it be weird seeing Felicity Jones play, you know, a 16-year-old? Probably. But hey,
Hey.
You know, this is a show about prostate massage.
Bill Odeker played 24. Like,
you know what? When I was watching Better Call Saul, I really didn't pay attention to what the year was supposed to be. I wasn't even totally sure. I just knew it was in the past sometime. Like I wasn't sure if like I was 35 then going to law school. Like it wasn't clear, you know. It just wasn't.
That's why you just move on. You don't
Yeah.
make a big deal out of it, you know.
Yeah. The Tyrant says Lindsey Graham is my safe word.
It's hilarious.
So Seth
Is
Nico,
inebriated Lindsey Graham's my favorite when he gets all drunk and then starts rambling about democracy. It's just, honestly, dude, it's a happy day for Rob. Like I'm like,
yeah. The guys at Last Podcast on the Left have a political spinoff podcast called Abe Lincoln's Top Hat, and I just started checking that out. I listened to that yesterday while I was doing chores and stuff, and they had a guy on who I don't know, but he talked about how basically the right stopped putting money into like the presidential campaign exclusively and started putting it into the smaller grassroots stuff. So that way they could gerrymander and control how elections happen. And exactly that's why the left is constantly losing, even though they are in the majority in the United States. It's a pretty good interview. It's totally worth checking out what the guy has to say if you're bored and want to listen to something. And I think the guy's making a lot of sense to me. So he was like, if we took all of the money that we take into the presidential campaign, not all of it, but a lot of it, and spread it around there, we would have an easier time winning the presidential campaigns. And that would in turn, it would make it would be good for democracy was his point. So I like that. Robert St. Clair says, Jason, like the sound system to tickle his balls. Was that it? Hey, who doesn't? THX, bro. George Lucas is like, I don't feel the tickle. Mark Stevens says, do you know if Vader
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually the whole way that happened. So
I have a serious question. Don't stay on, George, but I have a serious question for everybody. Has anyone ever considered the white Santa like lion's mane that is George Lucas's pubic region? Has anybody ever considered it?
Yeah, it's my old Papa Nemoida.
it probably looks like George Washington in a headlock. That's how I would imagine it.
It's always been that way,
Leg
Jason.
lock.
That's what inspired the grappling hook scene in A New Hope. Is I used to just tie it across the room and I could swing on it like woo, down over by the old watering hole, Huck Finn style.
Sounds like fat bastard.
Yeah, well, we're all fat bastards, aren't we, Jason? Really?
We all sound like him.
To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English and has a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like fat bastard.
Yeah, it's true. yeah.
I'm not going to
said it all there, didn't I? Yeah.
You know, when I was watching Rogue One, we were talking about special editions yesterday, and I wanted to say this, and I just slipped my mind. I really wish that they would special edition Rogue One with what they can do now for Tarkin and Leia. Like that's the one thing that where I'm like, you know what? It is amazing work. It's amazing CGI work. It truly is. Like the work itself is phenomenal, but we leapfrogged that. There was never a need to perfect that. We leapfrogged it already, and I wish that they would.
And I would add it as it stands in the original release. That's not a cinematic history wasn't being made when they did it. People were like, well, it's getting closer, or people thought it looked weird. One or the other, you know? It wasn't like unanimously everyone was blown away by that. So it's like, you're not looking back at it like, I don't want them to deep fake, dinosaurs into fucking Jurassic Park 1. Like, no, leave that visual effects.
Yeah.
Leave that where it's at, But in this case, the movie would benefit, from that 100-fold. Like, it's my only gripe about the film is that, and I was actually impressed with the Tarkin work back in the day. I let the Carrie Fisher work go. I'm like, sure, whatever, you know. Like,
Yeah.
well, at that point, why not just cast an actress who vaguely looks like her? I don't really get the fucking point. But yeah, they should. They really should.
Yeah, it would be nice if perhaps if they end up going in season 2 and bringing Tarkin in, maybe they will go that way, you know. And that would be my other weird question is if they were to do it, if Tarkin's in it, for instance, would they keep it consistent to Rogue One? Consistent within its subgenre. Yeah, that would be weird.
I wish it'd keep the shitty, like the really. I always thought that 97 version, the 97 special edition version of Jabba looked more like a Macquarie painting, which is how like I did my headcanon. I'm like, well, he's a little painterly, you know, he's got a little bit of that Macquarie style, you know.
Yeah.
He drew weird fucking faces, you know. So like, I'm like, yeah, just make them all look. Anytime Jabba's in that era, he's got to look fucking dumb, you know. Like, that's the way it works.
Yeah, that was if I remember right, that was actually a couple of days ago. Somebody posted a film cell, and it was of the Tantive 4 getting attacked, and it had an explosion on it. And they're like, "There's an explosion on this. Like, what the fuck, you know?" And they're like, "What is this from?" And like, I bought the film frames. What is it from? And I went and I recognized it right away, and like I responded, and I was like, "It's from special effects. Anything could happen." An IMAX 1996 documentary that showcased the new changes to the special edition and where ILM was at that time. And
yeah, we went to we had to go to the Space Center for that one. Remember the Omni Max or whatever that thing was, to see that shit back in the day.
Yeah, I went with my girlfriend when I was 16, and her dad Jose, who he called me Hassan, so I called him Josie, and her mom, and I remember what we saw.
Sounds like a Paul Simon song.
But it does, right? Yeah. And but yeah, no, I saw it the one time, and I was like, you know, transfixed. It was pretty amazing. They made the Star Destroyer like extra long, so I kind of didn't like how it looked. So I for a time I was hoping that they were gonna.
It wasn't the same. It was definitely different. Yeah.
A big question we had in 97, at least I had in 97 though, was are they going to use that in the film? Like, are they going to use that in the opening of A New Hope when it comes out next year? You know, that's what I was wondering at the time. And which they didn't. I got like a couple thousand like upvotes on Reddit, which is like the first time I ever had that, and it was sort of strange. But the point being was in that documentary, if I remember it right, which I might not because I haven't seen it since it was in the IMAX theater in 96. I remember they were talking about how for Jabba, they were using the Tyrannosaurus Rex skin. And they were saying that they were using off-the-shelf software to do it with a couple of assets they had made for Jurassic Park because George wanted to prove it could be done economically. Like it was, I don't know if I'd call it punk, but it was more of like what's the DIY level of this for us? And so that was why
Jason,
the first.
It's because Spaz was running up a giant fucking tab. Like it just, we know, and we're a little strapped for cash at that point. I mean, every day you can't party every day like it's 1999 Spaz. All right, like you just got to stop doing that. And so we had to find. And now I had this really great copy of Paint Shop Pro and Dream Maker, and so I was able to put this sucker together using NURBS modeling. It was really keen.
I love that
NURBS. Yeah, NURBS, really keen. And Ray Dream Studio actually was what I was using. Dreamweaver was for the site one. That's how we're going to promote the special edition. But I had Ray Dream, and yeah, it was great. We did it all, and I did it. That was me. Yeah. There.
George, while you were talking, I just got a message, a private message on Reddit. Hey, is there any way I can watch this documentary today? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen it since then. I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've seen it show up on YouTube. It might be, but I haven't seen it show up on YouTube.
Those are real science-y things back when those came out. Like you had to go to the science fucking museum to see that shit. Like
I remember we bought like our tickets, and I remember watching like 25-minute thing about dolphins or some shit before. In IMAX, going like, can we just get to the new Star Wars effects, please? You know, in my head.
Yeah.
But anyways, so please Tarkin in Andor. Yeah, I don't know. The other question I would have for you in terms of like dramatic conceit, if we see this as sort of its own sub saga, bringing Tarkin in at Rogue One does make it a little bit more, I don't know if special is the right word, but it shows an escalation, I guess is what I would say. And the one thing I noticed about Rogue One when it begins that wasn't necessarily completely, it was there, but it wasn't as bold as it is now after knowing what we know about this show, is the Empire's pissed about the rebellion. Like when they get to Jeddah, Cassian's like, all of the shit those guys are doing is what's making everybody, mad. That's why that Star Destroyer's here. And if you're not really paying attention to the film and you're just watching it, you're like, yeah, Imperial reigns everywhere. Empire reigns everywhere. They're just taking stuff. You simplify it.
No, but they're directly pissed about the rebellion.
They're directly pissed about Saw.
Tacit support of it. You know what I mean? They're like French resistance style support of it. Yeah.
And it says something about where Saw Gerrera is at. That Saw Gerrera doesn't know what they're doing, but he knows what it amounts to, something he does not like. And so they're hitting it hard. They're like trying to stop the supply lines any way they can. So
they're hitting it like DiCaprio.
No,
when they're 21.
Is it 25?
No, that's when he gets out.
Somebody made a really cool infographic, and it was like DiCaprio, and it was like every girl he's dated over the years, and they're always 25. Like 25 is his target.
Meanwhile, if it was Bette Midler, we'd all be rooting her on. So it's, I would.
Oh, I'm rooting them on. Fucking
who cares?
No, what? Everybody's seriously winning. I mean, if
so ridiculous. If anyone wants to get mad, I'll man, dude. my wife's sister, when she was 19, married a 64-year-old Irish man, dude. And he looked like David Crosby. You know what I mean?
Wait,
like real Muppety.
Was he like the guy from Head of the Class?
Head of the Class.
When the second Billy Connolly came in?
Yeah, he was like that. And he worked for the government, designed rockets and shit. Like, it was just a whole fucking... He fought in the fucking Israel War, dude. That's right. 1964 Israel War. He's older than her parents. And
I want to marry him right now. He sounds fucking cool as shit.
Unfortunately, dude, he died like a fuck... He died working on a tractor, and it fell on him and then dragged him down a hill. It was crazy, dude. It was super bummed.
He died as he lived.
But it's still fucking like a real metal way to go. Like
fuck yeah, it is.
Of all things. So, and when I met him, I was like, this is weird.
Wait, how old was she?
Since 19 when her sister was 19
in 64?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason in my head I was thinking like 27, 64. And
no,
I was like,
19, bro. No. So I would go, this is weird. I don't agree with this. But I'll say this, since he's passed, all the dudes all the various people she's been with since, none of them have lived up to what they had. There is, now I'm not saying DiCaprio has that shit, but people should just stay the fuck out of other people's legal fucking relationships, because it's so weird. You can barely manage, we can all barely manage our own relationships, that we should just stay the fuck out of other people's shit. Because I remember just thinking, this is odd, but the dude was legitimately, they were really good for one another. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, but such is life.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, if that dude's out there promising women a bunch of shit and then bailing on them, that's a whole nother thing. But if they know the deal, then it's like, and?
Yeah. I mean,
I dated some women who used me, oh, yeah. At that age. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah. It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. And, yeah, if I was going to go out with Leonardo DiCaprio, I know I'm going to love hard, I'm going to love fast, but I know he will break my heart. I know. Why am I different? Mark Stevenson says, is Urso in it? Still F Jones. Wait, fuck Felicity Jones? Felicity Jones, I would. Sure.
Jason.
Sure. But I was kind of thinking about Galen Erso when I was watching the show, and I was like, man, when you start Rogue One, you kind of you have before Andor, right? When Felicity Jones, when Jyn Erso is a child, you start before then. So those two guys are kind of in a weird way, like throughout in that narrative, but we don't know what Andor's connection to them is in any way. If there's any more to it, there could be. I don't think we need it, but there definitely could be. But I kind of have a hard time almost imagining Galen not showing up with Erso, or at least being mentioned, like we lost him or something, like it not connecting. You know, that's kind of a hope of mine. Lindsay in a seersucker shirt at a truck stop bathroom. It's happened.
Oh.
Actually, the guy on Abe Lincoln's top hat is a gay man who's friends with an escort, and the escort swears he's been Lindsay's man.
Only Barney Frank knows for sure.
Hey, Steve Bragg says, any more on if Bail Organa is in Andor or not? I don't think we've really had a confirmation that he is. And I do have to say, if they are holding it back in like a super secret fashion, I don't know why they would hold that one back. And they've been so forthcoming so far. It's kind of weird because you have some going like, oh, there's going to be cameos, y'all. Cameos. Lindsey Graham's all cameos, y'all. But on the other hand,
I love cameos. Yeah.
Yeah, I love cameo. Word up.
Guess what Filoni's going to be doing now?
Yeah. Can we do a cover? I'll do the music if you could do Filoni's Word Up.
Yeah. I will do it.
All right.
Let's do it. We're making this one happen.
I'm ready. So anyways, I almost feel like they would be kind of open about it if he was, but who knows? We might not know what the back half of the season has. They might be going really, early on the first 3 or 4 episodes, heavy on stuff.
I want no cameos on this first season. I just want them to make their own show.
Yeah.
And then they can do the cameos when they hit that, that the season 2 that leads into Rogue One or whatever.
It's weird though, man. I mean, it's like the whole cameo thing. It's just such a fucking like letdown. And at the end of the
cameo
day,
culture, man.
You know what I mean? Because it doesn't amount to anything but looking at something. Usually, it's just I don't understand it entirely.
You can't even enjoy what you just saw because if people didn't get a fucking cameo, then they're fucking the movie, everything, the TV show, movie, it all sucks. I don't know why they spent any time on this. I spent my $20 to get a cameo. Like I don't fucking get it,
Or is it that the actual thing itself was so not engaging that's all people could think about? Like if there's not a cameo, like is that just a band-aid for when something isn't engaging and then fans are okay with that? Band-aid?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. This is just, and I would like to say this is like a recent Marvel movie event, but it isn't. Because if you go back to like even Spider-Man 2, when they're like, is that the Punisher? At the end when he goes by, it was the Punisher. Like it's never fucking ends, bro. Like it's just nerds want more nerd shit. And when they're sitting down to eat their nerd meal, they're just thinking about the nerd meal they're gonna someday get. You know, they're never happy with the fucking one they're getting. They gotta always think about the other fucking one they're getting. And that's always been that way. So
yeah. Like
look, the Spawn movie had an Angela cameo. And I was like, there she is. It's fucking great. But I'm like the only fucking person who cared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one remembers that. Who cared? I don't know. Now she's a Marvel character. So like it didn't make the movie better. It didn't make the movie worse, But like I couldn't imagine, dude. Like Star Trek. Remember this back in the day in the 90s? Remember when they were wondering when the Next Generation crew or the Deep Space Nine crew was going to cameo in a Star Trek movie? Like this just goes on and on. It's like fucking. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want, I don't know. I would rather, don't give me a Kenobi cameo. Just give me a Kenobi show. Don't just like Andor.
100%.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I'm watching an Andor show. I'm not watching a bunch of fucking cameos for Tarkin or whoever the fucking else you want. Like people got their Tarkin cameo on Revenge of the Sith. Did it make the movie better? Did that help anything? Like, so what?
I like. Yeah, no, I like Tarkin being in it, like in the role in that. Like it doesn't. I don't feel like it was egregious, but and it
Right.
makes.
But
And
I'm not saying it was
yeah,
egregious. I'm saying it didn't do anything. It's just a dude in a prosthetic nose shaking his fucking head and walking off. Like so what?
yeah,
Like didn't hurt, didn't help. But like if you were mad, if it didn't happen at all, oh well. I mean, like I feel Mon Mothma should have been integral to the prequels. Integral, and Bail Organa should have been integral to all the three of those films, not just in the latter half of some kind of, and mostly in this cut scenes. So like, but it didn't happen. So, oh well, you know, like,
well, we're gonna get now. I'm better late than never. In a weird
you know,
way, we're probably lucky because if she had been, it would have been probably still in movies that you didn't like, and the fact that she was so underutilized, if not even really used at all, is what's allowing us to get her now. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise in a weird way.
well, you know what her parents' names were originally in the prequels? Mon Martha.
Mon Martha.
Yes, her mom was in it.
All right,
It was Mon Martha. Yeah.
Mon Martha.
Every hero's mom's name is Martha.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
Will they ever release the deleted footage from Rogue One? Ask Mark Stevenson.
Alternate cut? No.
I don't think they would alternate cut it, but they could like the problem with so much of it is that some of it is still in the movie, some of it's not. And so like in a weird way, it's almost I think viewed as being like early cut kind of stuff, not necessarily like finished cut or alternate cut. But at the same time, you run into a weird place. Like Gareth Edwards seems to be pretty cool with the fact that he worked on Star Wars. He did that 5 years later interview with StarWars.com, which shows that he's down to talk to them. Also, doesn't appear he was asked to come and direct on this though, which I think would have
So weird.
I think that would have been maybe nice, but at the same time, I'm going to guess that if just the way it's set up with Taylor or Gilroy coming in to fix the film, probably didn't leave him with a high respect for him. Maybe where he was like, I want to work with him. Maybe I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm curious about how that all played out. But my point is, you may be disrespecting him to do that, but also we heard stories like he did like I don't remember what he called it. It was something like Visions Hour or something, where he would just spend like an hour directing visuals every day. That's all the stuff that he wanted. So there may just be a bunch of like, here's Jyn Erso in a funny tube that lights up, and it ultimately doesn't go anywhere or mean much. Mm-hmm.
Jason, I'm gonna let old Georgie bring it up.
Okay.
Tone poems, Jason. We have the footage. We can do Andor and Rogue One tone poems for the promotion of this stupid Andor show. Yeah. What? I'm not jealous. I'm not mad or anything. They can fucking do whatever they want with this era, apparently. Just whatever they want, willy nilly. You know.
George, you got to stop calling
it by
it
crook. You know.
he keeps calling it Space Chachi, and I think he needs to stop. It's called Star Wars Andor, not Space Chachi.
Yeah, well, or Mon Mothma is in charge, whatever, right?
Mon Mothma's in charge of my day and my life. I want Mon Mothma in charge of me.
Yeah, let Willie Mays play Tarkin. Fuck this shit. I can't. I gotta cut him off.
Willie Mays.
Willie
Mays here.
Why is it? I can never remember a name, but then that happens. You know, and I'm like, why? Why did I remember this? What is wrong with me?
Today I have my sort of James Cameron update story. That's usually Rob's, but today it's mine.
Oh.
Who's the guy who played the T-1000? Patrick?
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick was doing an interview, and he was saying he lobbied hard at Cameron for 9 Inch Nails to do the T2 theme song. And boy, does that make sense. And it would have been fucking spot on. And
the music video, or not the theme, like the dun dun dun, but you're talking about that one that the Guns N' Roses did.
You
right,
can be mine. Yeah. And
yeah, I don't.
It would have been better. And it would have been more fitting. Nine Inch Nails as an industrial band would have been great in a Terminator movie, I think. And that's when they were good. That's when he was like fucking on fire. That's like right after Head Like a Hole. It's like Head Like a Hole territory.
I just don't know if that John Connor would be listening to "Fuck You Like an Animal," but you know
he would. No. I actually think that John Connor is more of a grunge kid. He had Public Enemy shirt on, which white kids who listened to Public Enemy listened to Sonic Youth, went to the Sonic Youth tour and saw Public Enemy. That's how it happened.
But this is why I think Public Enemy should have done the fucking theme song.
Fair enough.
He's wearing the fucking shirt. That was my take at the time. I'm like, he's not listening. The kid from fucking Salute Your Shorts is listening to Guns N' Roses.
That's a Guns N' Roses kid. No, exactly.
Yeah.
If you had that was a Guns N' Roses kid. If you had the shaved on the sides, you were a grunge kid though. So like they kind of had, and those guys would have been friends. They would. Fair enough. I was okay with that. But yeah, but I was like, man, I was like, they should get Trent Reznor to do one of those Terminator movies in the future if they ever took a serious stab at it.
They should just stop fucking making Terminator movies, like, for the love of God.
I like what I actually, you know what? I thought Prey was fucking boring, but I appreciate it. Movie. I know that, but where I'm going with it is it said you can't do the same fucking thing over and over. You have to redress this premise, and you have something. I think they had something with Prey. I just find it fucking boring, which wasn't for me. People who like it, cool. I'm not knocking them for having a good time. Like I really do respect like where they were going with it, like what they tried to like do, and just didn't connect with it personally. Did you watch it?
Did they use? No, I haven't. I've told you I've been in computer hell, dude.
So he thought he was George Lucas for several days.
Yeah, flooding and Lucas. I was in a fugue state with Lucas. So love that fugue state. So it's my excuse whenever my wife goes, well, how come what took you so long? I was in a fugue state. Like she's like, don't you fucking do it. Yeah. Don't you do it. But was Rage Against the Machine, was their first album out before Terminator 2 came out?
No. They were like
after, right?
They were a post Nirvana band. Yeah. They were late. They were like late 94.
Rage was my jam.
So like late. It had, and I don't think they broke until about the summer of. I mean, like really truly were broke like summer like 95 is when they were like, oh, this is like a thing. It was like the new guard was Rage and No Doubt. That's where we were kind of pulled into those two different territories in terms of like the rock / punk / whatever music. Yeah, at least that was my.
I'm a big fan of Dan Trachtenberg's work on 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I told you it's the movie that has most felt like the tone of the original Terminator for me. Like even though it's nothing like that, but it just has that same kind of vibe, whatever that guerrilla tech noir fucking. They're all in a bunker and Armageddon's happening outside, like kind of feel, you know.
I was in full Ewan McGregor mode when I saw that movie. I was all looking, no listening. And
poor Jason, you can watch a movie, but just transfixed.
I'll watch
you
it
probably
again,
shouldn't watch Fargo season. Have you watched Fargo season 3? Because you'll get a much better time.
No, I haven't. I still haven't watched.
No,
I still haven't seen Fargo season 3 yet.
That's the one to watch.
Is it on Netflix? I know he was in it. I wanted to watch it. I just never got around to it. I kind of got into a place with those like Better Call Saul. I was like, I'm gonna wait till it's done. You know. Just gonna enjoy.
Well, did they use the Predator theme on Prey?
I don't believe
the Alan Silvestri.
I don't.
Okay, then that would be my number one gripe: is they got to stop replacing these themes. Same with all those Terminator movies. Stop using Brad Fidel.
They might have. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, if they didn't, then like it's a colossal fucking mistake. Like you gotta you can do a remix. They can do the Last of the Mohicans version of that fucking thing. There's a way to do it, but like. I'm just not a fan of them, you know, like taking things that have iconic scores and then giving you like the ambiance version of it for a supposed reboot or some shit. Like I'm just not not into it. I'm not saying Spider-Man has to have the same theme every time, but if you're in the same Tobey Maguire universe, then yeah, you do need that fucking theme. Like, it's kind of the way it works.
Yeah.
So,
when Tyrant says Rogue One Director's Edition, Rogue One Other Director's Edition, when I think about sometimes on some of these films that have gone through huge revamps and overhauls and stuff, my head sometimes, like, I hold on to ideas that don't apply anymore and stuff, and that's the only like downside to it for me, is sort of keeping some of those like threads straight. I don't know if it would be in their best interest for the coherency of that film to do that anytime soon. In 20 years, or once the movie's like old hat and it's settled and everybody, you know what I mean, it's well known, I think it would be okay. But I would love for them to. Don't get me wrong, I'm ready for them to release it. I don't know if it would be in their best interest though. I kind of wonder. Is that Empire of Dreams?
the average audience has no idea who directed it one way or the other. But if they do look at the end, they see Gareth Evans and they're like, how come this other guy's out there promoting the... It is weird.
Yeah,
you know? Like, Gilroy does talk about Rogue One as if he were the director, like in those interviews. And I'm like, interesting. Interesting take.
Like I said, man, when they were filming that shit, I was told that if there was like pretty much dialogue, they were redoing it.
Oh, I believe that. I'm saying he has every right to, but at the same time, that's not how the credits roll, right? Mm-hmm. So it is weird. You know?
And then one other thing too that I don't have a firm answer to this day still, but I think when Gareth did the Saw Gerrera stuff, I think he just looked the one way the whole time, and it wasn't until Gilroy came about and he was like, no, he's gonna look crazy all these years later. This hasn't been cool. This hasn't been easy. And I would love to have that confirmed one way or the other.
You saying that he had blue eyes until Gilroy showed up?
No, shaved head Gerrera was just shaved head Gerrera the whole time. They even redid the same scene in the trailer after Gilroy came aboard. I believe they showed I think they showed the same scene. Either they showed the same scene or I had it. Can't remember now, but I definitely know I've seen short hair Gerrera do the same thing as grizzled fro Gerrera, you know. So Tyrant says, I think if they brought Tarkin back, especially if it's in Disney Plus, I think they go deep fake route because of how fast it can be implemented and reiterated versus the more traditional CG in Rogue One. So
there's nothing fast or easy about what they did on Rogue One. Like, that is a model with an actor and, you know, all that shit, you know, and tweaking in post and everything to try to get it as close as they can. That's about as close as you're probably ever going to get. I'm saying they could get a little closer, but not discernibly different. Like, to hit an actor's likeness, that's how much effort, and regardless of whatever photo shit you're doing and technology changes, that's it. If it could get better, they wouldn't be doing deepfake. Like, that is literally... I just remember when we were watching that making of Mando season 2. Yeah. And they were showing that guy, like, try to do the deepfake stuff with Mark Hamill. And even though it was flickery, they're like, there's fucking Mark Hamill. Like, I know that's not perfect, but that's clearly him. Mm-hmm. So if they could just get that deepfake to do, you know, like Botox, can it smile? You know, can it do more than stoic faces? Once they get past that problem, like, there's just no reason to ever, you know, do mocap for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless they probably need the capture for facial, you know, masking.
But if they're able, once they're able to deep fake in real time on top of a mocap, there we go. And we're in business in terms of on set, you know, trying stuff and performance. Tyrant says, I think if at least it seems like that. I could be completely wrong. Tarkin says,
we can watch Princess Leia get married.
I was really hard on it yesterday, and then I was thinking about it. This is shower thoughts with Jason.
We need the sound effect of the shower. You know, get you in a cap.
So
you wear a cap even though you have no hair. That's what I like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta wear the cap. You are the last princess of Alderaan, and you're getting married, and it's a big deal. Let's do a dress derivative of the ones that the Ewoks made. Let's not wear a gown, that says something like I'm the last princess of Alderaan. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about that. I was like,
yeah, I do know. I was like, this is so fucking dumb, dude. All of this, the execution of it, the very idea of it's fucking just nothing gets more, we're bereft of fucking marketing material than this bullshit. And I suffered through the courtship of Princess Leia, but at least that fucking cover, she was wearing a dress that made fucking sense for the last princess of Alderaan. Like, this is dumb, dude. This is like if I guess her and old Han went down to the fucking courthouse, and it's that same spot where he signed up, he got his name and shit. And that same guy's working there. They're just getting their Better Call Saul papers signed, like.
Well, ridiculous. I saw like 3 storied options, and the first is you play upon the last Princess of Alderaan motif. You just redesign the Ewok dress that looks like the Ewok dress from the Marvel comics, which is what they did. Or you like give her Padme's wedding dress and put her in the Padme dress and then like do some callbacky thing. And I think the way they went was still my third least favorite option, probably, in the big picture. Tyrant says, if they brought Tarkin back, especially if it's for Disney Plus, I think they go the deep fake route because of how fast it could be implemented and reiterated versus the more traditional CG in Rogue One. Yeah, I would think so too. I think the big old boy just the old boy just gave me a super chat that I didn't see. I'm sorry, old boy. I don't know when you sent it. Old boy says, Jason, I love the way you say Padawan. Padawan, 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 Padawan. Padawangle.
Yeah, he actually says it like fat bastard. But yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to it yet. Yeah. Padawan, Padawan, Padawan. I'll sing it for you too for $1.99. Sam says, I think Andor should take the opportunity to distance itself from the cameos that have no plot purpose. Agreed. It would be odd if our new Imperial characters happen to run into Tarkin and Krennic at every Imperial superstar. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good silence. Why don't they just get that racist alien starfish mole to be in everything too? I just want that dude. The red-hatted mole.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was they used the Imperial Krennic. Yeah, the way that it worked in Rogue One is you see Krennic going to Tarkin and then to Vader. So it's sort of like Tarkin is like the gateway to Vader for Krennic. So if they were to play that same game, the top would be Krennic. I think. I don't think they would go to.
And
Darth
the bottom
Vader.
Would be Lindsey Krennic.
Yeah,
it's too easy. You're shaming him. Fuck that.
No. Butt fucking's fun for everybody. I'm just saying that Lindsey Gramstar, the new Star Wars character that's coming in. Andor season 2. Should just be honest and not try to ruin other people's lives because he can't come to terms with himself. He should try.
Yeah, that's all we're saying.
James says they used the dino skins for the Ronto, not Jabba. I thought it was both, actually, but I will concede your point. But we should look it up. We should fact check that. Mark says rumor is Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. That rumor's been around without any any legs. Now, it's been around, yeah. It's been. I mean, it's one of the reasons that Star Wars Newsnet's initial problems with me started was that I got rid of a source who was insisting that he was going to be in it. Episode 7, I was like, no, and then I removed everything that they said. They jumped over to Star Wars News, that became their source, and all of that information was wrong. And then they were like, oh, we hate that guy. No, it's on you, fucking idiots. Mark says, will they ever do a Star Wars multiverse? I hope not. I don't want that. I want things to matter.
They have it. It's called the prequel trilogy. It doesn't actually exist in the timeline.
You zip it. It is
a separate
canon.
Thing.
It's canon.
No.
Canon, baby.
Separate.
G canon, baby.
Mm-mm.
Sam the Sham says, World Between Worlds is a path to strange story opportunities. Yeah, there's sort of. I've thought about the world between worlds quite a bit, and the thing about it is it takes a time travel logic of dominant timeline only, meaning when something happens with the world between worlds, it always happened. Therefore, Luke Skywalker cannot pop out in the Bespin duel, for instance, and be like, "Hey, y'all, I'm Lindsey Graham." That can't happen. But Ray could look at it in a Force vision, for instance, that kind of thing. I think that's how it's working. But I also think they're probably, I don't know if they're going to go to it in Ahsoka. I don't know if they're going to want to go right down that pathway. I'm even going to throw it out there. I could be completely wrong, but I would still consider Dave Filoni to be somewhat not an amateur filmmaker in any way. I don't mean to say that, but newer to live action. And I don't know.
We should preface it. Amateur filmmaker Dave
Filoni. No, I'm newer to live action. I don't know if you go from like directing 2 episodes to making Back to the Future Part 2. I don't know if that's wise. It could be wrong. Maybe they would. Holy moly, I'm late as hell today. Whoops, says King Chris. Now you got to watch The Holy Mountain because you made me think of The Holy Mountain when you said that. Good movie. But work got the best of me. Hey, you're selling your labor as a proletariat. What can you do? King Chris says Cassian looking handsome and all about his rebel business. I know with that beard, I'm actually like the beard makes him look older, but also in a weird way. Like me, I look way older when I have a beard and way younger when I shave it. And so
I just look stupid.
You just look stupid
without this. I just look stupid.
Fair enough.
I mean, I look stupid now. You know how stupid I look without it? Woo! Ric Flair style. Woo!
You don't look that stupid because most lesbians think you look like attractive Hollywood actors.
Me and Randall from the Clerks cartoon have a lot in common.
Yeah. Tyrant says a lot of old cameos that people actually loved and enjoyed were actually just costumes or assets that were available for filler. Now people act like it's a main event. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with I like crossover stuff. Like it's kind of weird because like Book of Boba Fett does make me annoyed when it becomes the Mandalorian all of a sudden because I feel like it was at the expense of Boba Fett. But like crossover stuff with like Boba and Mando teaming up and shit, that's fundamentally fucking metal and badass and like a fun time. It's like I'm not against the crossover. I just kind of want it to, I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan. Love when Batman and Scooby-Doo fucking team up. They solve all kinds of crimes.
Adam West, Burt Ward.
But by the way, does anybody know if the Adam West Batman episodes of Scooby-Doo are on HBO? I was trying to find them and I couldn't find them. I even looked for Adam West, the search for Adam West, as an acting credit, on HBO.
They're
Max.
Definitely on a Russian streaming site. So yeah, I can guarantee you that.
Me and my kids have been playing a lot of multiverses. Loving the game.
I know.
It has over 16 million, has 16 million players right now. It's taking off. It's doing good. Still
every crypto bro likes to preface their numbers before. Yeah.
It's doing well. It's a good game. It's a really fun game. And but my kids are wanting to watch things from the game now. So, bad dads, they've already seen Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Oh, but Morty does go, oh shit, in the game, and it's hilarious every single time when he says it. It makes me laugh. But yeah, but I'm with you, Tyrant. I want there to be meaningful crossover. I don't want cameos. And it's like, correct. Yeah, that's I think there's just such a big difference. Like in Rogue One, I do not hate when Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan show up. I just don't really care. And I could really see an argument for, hey, lighten up. And I could see an argument for unnecessary. And that's just how frivolous I find it in the end. It's kind of funny though. Its sense of humor is not in a bad place. So I don't really get mad at it too much. And the idea that those two idiots go right to the cantina, are just on a path to destruction is kind of funny, but it didn't really help the film at all. Jedi.
If I didn't get my Ponda Boba cameo, then this movie sucks. Is the tagline that's basically occurring with a lot of fandom, and it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But until people in our chat go there, I think we'll have to say our chat's above it. I think they are above it.
Oh, they go there. They let me know in the it's our comments that are all fucked up. But
okay. Well, chat's cool.
I like how the dude was like, the homeboy today in the comments was like, sexist, racist, Ryan Johnson. And I called him, hey, look, a maggot. You know? Because who uses that prefacing before a name before Trump? Nobody. It's never happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous.
If you wanna talk about the insanity of Twitter itself, and like I said, I'm not somebody who's all, I'm not a George Lucas, there's heroes on both sides type of person. I don't go the middle's the way to be or anything. I'm not one of those guys. What I am saying though is the fucking crazies are on the left and the right on Twitter. Like they try.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is don't fucking use terminology that comes out of fascist mouth, even if you're not a fascist, because then you're just using their mind speak.
That's where I'm going with this, Rob. They tried to cancel Ryan Johnson. They were trying to cancel Ryan Johnson because of scenes that were cut and his use of a black man in the movie. And it's just like, you're fucking high. And I think, like I said, once again, they're getting at fascism from the other angle. That's what scares me more than anything about the social political climate of today is I feel like both sides really kind of want it. Like they have this deep-seated passion for it because they think it's the totalitarian answer, gives them everything that they ever wanted. And it's just like, you're fucking stupid and high. And Ryan Johnson's literally like, you're probably not going to see from a white dude a better stab at being fair than what Ryan Johnson did in his film. And you want to be angry. You're setting yourself up for it. There's so many places to put justified anger than at Ryan Johnson. You fucking maniacs. Super Fry 401 says, you're all talking about the alternate cut where Andor is voiced by Seth Rogen the whole time.
We were saying, my buddy and I was doing the Seth Rogen voice last night because, he's producing that Turtles movie, the CG Turtles movie. And I was like, they all have the Rogen voice. Like all the turtles should be voiced by Seth Rogen. That would be so good.
I'm hoping that one brings back the turtle magic. I believe in turtle magic.
We'll see.
No, if you want to just bet on past trends, it won't. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing with the turtles, man. They're my jam. Before the movie, before the cartoon, I was the guy with the comic. I was like, they're like Muppets. They're ninja Muppets. And then when Henson did the fuck, I was like flipping out. Yeah. But there has never been an actual adaptation of the comics. The closest is that first film. There are whole sequences that are lifted right out of the comics. Even then, it's still not the comics. It's crazy. It's the one thing that I'm like, it's never all the Turtles content. There's a shitload of Turtles content, and none of it is the comics. And just fucking one time, man. Just one time I'd like to see them actually make something that looks like the original fucking thing. They almost did an animated series before the 2003 one. They did a pitch in 2000, 2001. And the styles artistically look like the original designs with the goofy faces and all that shit. But just once I'd like to have them have that look. But they won't. They're going to always be... That cartoon is forever changed. The turtles and to the point, so much to the point that the guys who were in charge of that cartoon, like the producers in the animation studio, they were one of the people who sued Eastman and Laird to try and go, well, actually, we're the reason why this is, you're using all of our shit. And so we technically own it. And they're like, they had to go to court over that too. There's a great interview with Kevin Eastman.
What happened really quickly? What happened with
they lost. Oh, Kevin Eastman them won. The studio lost. It's ridiculous because they're work for hire.
Remember yesterday though when we were talking about how they were going to try to reframe Batman as being different throughout the decades in order to.
And I told you it's never going to work.
And that there would be sort of a precedent for no, it wouldn't. You would think.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. So, because it just opens up a giant can of fucking worms that this country's not willing to deal with. So, but. There's a great interview with Kevin Eastman in the Comics Journal. If you just pay like $5 for like a month, you can read anything on the Comics Journal site. They got all the archives. I recommend just paying for a year because it's worth reading. But there's the Kevin Eastman interview where he talks about how he just blew $14 million making Tundra Publishing, which is, hey, so you want to know how to lose $14 million making comics? Here's how you do it. Like, it's a great interview, man. It's a great interview. But he talks about how, like, they didn't realize when the Turtles took off how much they had to set aside for lawsuits that would just come at them from nowhere. And every fucking day there was someone new trying to say, you know, no, we invented it. No, we invented it. No, we invented it. No, it just never ends.
My friends called me a mutant and I love pizza. Give me $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I am interested if they ever went that route specifically, because the Eastman Laird comic book isn't what culturally connected. And so, but would that be what reconnected it with adults who are looking for nostalgia, but also have grown up and need Batman to be real? You know, it might.
I get that it didn't connect in the sense that, yeah, the mass public didn't know what Turtles was, but it was a monster hit on the indie scene. I mean, almost immediately. Like, I mean, it was a giant fucking hit. So, like, I hear all that. It's just, as a fan of, like, the original thing, everyone, look, man, you got versions of Batman that are clearly fucking the original Batman or the tone of the Batman you like. I sort of have it in a Turtles movie made almost 40 years ago. And even then, not really. You know? So just fucking once as a fan. But we're not going to get it. We're going to forever get the 80s Turtles cartoon, which is fine. You know, I've let it go. But when Star Wars fans really... The one thing I always have to say as a Star Wars fan is at least we're getting different. We're getting an Andor. You know what I mean? And then we're getting like a Mandalorian, right? Which is more of an action figure-y thing, you know? Like we're getting... And I think in order for a property to survive, it needs to be able to have two different versions of it, you know, simultaneously. And I think Turtles is strong enough to do it. Star Wars is strong enough to do it. I don't think Pokemon's strong enough. I don't think you get realistic Pokemon next to cartoony Pokemon. Like, my friends hate that.
The Pokemon movie was pretty good. The Pokemon movie was pretty good. Pikachu was pretty good.
But they were still cartoony proportions, just with realistic fur. But if they had made realistic looking Pokemon, like Jurassic Park, you
Charizard's a dinosaur kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It would not work, bro. Like, it would, like, imagine Michael Bay made a Pokemon movie. You know, you could see all their fucking shit everywhere.
If they ever did like Pokemon, like, I would want it to not take place on Earth, but rather a land like the one in the games. You know what I mean? Like a fantasy, techno Japanese sort of like
that movie should have just been
whatever you call that.
That movie should have just been Karate Kid with Pokemon, bro. Rocky with a kid and his pet fucking monster.
But he's a detective.
Going to tournament.
So cute.
You know why that detective shit happened? Because the Pokemon company was making a series of Detective Pikachu games. So they would only give up the rights to that to Legendary if they made it a detective thing, because it fit the game thing that they were doing. And that fucking MMO thing came out, that phone MMO came out, and it was so hot that, like, fine, we don't care. But the reality is, it's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Nobody goes, can't wait for Pikachu to fucking solve a crime. It's never fucking happened. It's never gonna fucking happen. You know, and that's why that movie fucking tanked. It is ridiculous.
Did it
is
tank?
Ridiculous. It tanked, bro. It did not make...
Okay.
They lost money. I don't care what the numbers did. I know the studio lost money. They lost money. And how do you lose money on Pokemon? It's ridiculous, dude. And because it's not a fucking detective story. It'd be like saying Detective Raphael. No, don't do it. Time out, buddy. You know, like, it's a bad call. They're fucking ninjas and they're turtles.
Cool. I kind of want to see that.
Yeah,
now.
it sounds. Yeah. Well, that's because you're one of those guys who enjoys seeing something fail. But like
Donatello goes to MIT. Come on, you in?
Yeah, and he meets Bob Lazar, and they fucking find. And they go with the Triceratons, and that's when he... Yeah, I know. We can always make stupid shit.
Cronenberg's Fly as Baxter versus the Ninja Turtles. Come on. You in?
Yeah.
Goldblum?
No.
All right. No. I would watch it, though.
I get where everyone's going with that. I'd love to see Baxter Stockman's dick fall off, but it's not a good idea for the longevity of the franchise, you know?
Fair enough. So King Chris, you're going to learn in the first episode of Andor that Jenny used to date Boss Nass in college, and he gave her the name Mon Mothma. So she's not culturally appropriating anything. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. Don't worry.
But when you colonize alien planets, you get to use whatever name you want, Jason. What?
Fair enough. Mon Mothma Man. Out on the streets, they call it murder. King Chris.
It's hilarious.
Tyrant says, controversial opinion. Trent didn't do great soundtracks until after 9 Inch Nails. His work on Atticus on those 5 to 6 soundtracks are amazing versus, say, Quake 2.
No. His instrumental shit is so good that when the Fragile came out, I was like, this is like, I wrote a whole fucking book to that. Just listening to, forget the lyrics, like the instrumentals, like go listen to the Fragile again. Like that is a badass fucking album no one talks about. So
in terms of the Terminator thing, I don't think he was being tasked with or suggested to do the soundtrack. I mean, like the soundtrack single,
the Guns N' Roses song.
The Guns N' Roses, yeah. The what became the Guns N' Roses track, yeah. The rock.
Yeah, band. I agree. I don't think that John Connor's listening to fucking Use Your Illusions or whatever. You know
no,
what I mean? Like, or he's rocking out Little Patience. Yeah, no. Yeah. You know, like he's just. My buddy played that on a bus on our way to Disneyland in the 8th grade, and I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, this is what it's like when I sing, right? I can do this. Little Patience.
Yeah. Well, like
he was so hurt.
You know, like when I was a kid, like our kind of like, I think some of like the early versions of like feminism popping up into my mind was not liking my dad calling my mom a bitch. And then Axl was the guy that would go around calling every like woman a bitch. And I just feel like pretty much every indie kid rejected him off of that in reality. Like that's
yeah. I mean, he's changed his tune since then. You know, I get all that.
I hope so.
Everyone should.
I hope he has.
He at least vocally, he's been very progressive since those days. But 1991, it's a movie that features Sarah Connor doing some of the most badass feminist shit ever, and it's like that's who's singing the fucking song. Yeah, it didn't sit well with me. I'm like, why isn't Public Enemy? That was my fucking thing then, doing the song to this movie. Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know? No, I'm with you. In fact, it would have been badass if they had Trent Reznor do the music with Public Enemy doing the vocals. That would have been a cool collaboration back then.
That would have scared every cop on the Western Seaboard. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, think about how cool it was though. Like back then you had like artists. It's in some ways it's worse, in some ways it's better. I don't know where we're at. We're fucked up. I just know that. But like, you know, back in the day we would have like REM do songs with like a rapper just to like try to show unity. We'd have Public Enemy and Sonic Youth realizing we have the same enemies and going on tour together and stuff. And it was in some ways way more progressive and positive than where we're at in some ways. I guess maybe the festival scene sort of just took that away and there's no need for that overt political statement.
I hear all that, but I also think you're grossly overlooking how bad Woodstock 96 was. You know, the commercialization of an actual movement that had occurred 30 years ago, you know, like that's the one where I was like, really? We're selling tickets to this bullshit?
Yeah. That's when that's like I said, like once we jumped from the initial grunge guys to 9 Inch Nails, and there was sort of that handover that kind of happened into the STP guys. The very next, what was the next domino to fall was Limp Bizkit. That's where we ended up. And then it was all about turning your hat sideways and roofing people. You know what I mean? It was machismo was back, and it was tired of being put in the closet. You know what I mean? That was, frat guys were raging at parties. I remember they went crazy. I hate them all. Tyrant said, "Did you use Rage and No Doubt in the same comparison?" Flips table. Oh, I'm saying that was how the guard changed. That was where like the stratification happened. It moved away from. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Jason, but I tried to get Limp Bizkit for Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They were going to do it all for the Wookiee.
Mm-hmm. Get George. That was too low even for you. that was too low even for you.
What? Because there's Wookiees in it, Jason.
Yeah. No, I mean, because like back then, I was in Orange County pretty often, and was following the Muffs, and they were a really good sort of. Ended up touring with Green Day, and everybody thought the Muffs were going to break, and then Green Day broke. Super strange, because the Muffs were so fucking good. But I remember when we got to the No Doubt thing, and it was so performative. I knew it was not going to stay where it was. It was going to go bigger, but it was going to go back to pop. It is what it is,
bro. No doubt that shit is tired. You know what's wired? Fucking guano waves. All right, I still rock the fucking guano waves.
Rock it.
Still. You want a real fucking hot chick who can fucking sing just as fucking good, better, and actually fucking rock out? You will listen to some motherfucking guano waves. That's the band to replace No Doubt.
Say Ferris, singer, Kiss Me on
Lord of the Boards,
and I felt like I might get into ska for 1 minute. Tyrant says it was friendly. It wasn't, romantic. Tyrant says Rage's first album with Killing in the Name, Wake Up, etc., came out in 1991, same year as Never. You're right, it did, but I don't. It did it break then? Because I feel like it was like so fucking like under, and it wasn't.
That's why I'm saying I looked. I don't remember it. Yeah. I didn't come across Rage until the trial from the Rodney King trial, which I think was like 92 for me.
Really?
Like that was after Terminator 2 had come out. So I know like they shot at the spot where they shot on Terminator 2, they shot, and then this guy filmed them shooting at that biker bar or whatever. And then the next thing that guy, some fan shot, was the Rodney King tape. And Rodney King tape is a guy who shot them. He was like, I got a big scoop, I found them. And then Jason out there fucking, imagine going to the Mando set and the next day, you know what I mean? You fucking get George Floyd. Like, that's exactly what happened. It was crazy. Cameron's talked about that. But I don't think, in terms of like being able to pick a band to do a song with marketing, Rage was at that point. You know what I mean? Like when they were doing all that.
Yeah. No. Okay. So like it's kind of coming back to me now. And I feel like Rage was sort of at that time, they were like Slayer. They were sort of like, they had one foot in metal jail because it wasn't cool to be metal yet. Like metal hadn't come back. New metal wasn't a thing. New metal was the reaction to the fact that punk had completely taken over stylistically. Anyways, authenticity's up for debate, but I feel like you weren't hearing Rage on K-Rock in Southern California until late 94. Could be wrong, but that's my memory of it. But let's just reach out and touch faith. Jimmy McKay says, I want Donkey Kong and Stormtrooper armor voiced by Seth Rogen.
The most iconic laugh next to George Takei.
Yeah. And Jimmy with the most best comment of the day. Jimmy says, I always thought he'd listen to Alice in Chains instead. Bingo. That is the most accurate. I would think he would have been more of an Alice in Chains kid for sure. I
want Alice in Chains Flood to be on the Batman sequel. For a lot of reasons, but Gotham's flooded, so it all ties in.
Yeah, and right. How about they bring up a new villain called the Rooster? And we could bring the Alice in Chains Rooster song in too, and have John Connor come from the future. I'm here to save you, Batman.
His dad would be proud. I know the story. I know a little bit, Jason. I know a little bit.
King Chris says we need a new era version of We Are the World. Do we though?
They tried that shit. They tried it, and it was called Imagine during COVID. How well did that go?
Yeah.
Yeah, they deserved all that fucking hate. Ridiculous.
I think Queen put one foot in there too with "Is This the World We Created" on 1984's The Works, and it was just a huge downer. I don't think they really got how to do it. Anakin Solo says, "I'm just tuning in now, so I don't know if you guys talked about it. Yeah, but the people that leaked the Tales of the Jedi and Acolyte stuff got taken down. Their website's gone. No, they did not get taken down. They left. So, yeah, don't worry. That doesn't happen. I mean, I just got to be honest with you. If that's how it worked, I would be taken down many, many, many times.
But according to lying, stealing Star Wars Newsnet, they were spanked off the internet. And I'm intentionally doing that poorly because fuck that traitor's piece of shit. I gotta tell you something right now. We're at the end of the show, so I'm gonna bring up my army days. I'm
whatever you want.
As a guy in the military who's had to deal, I did not have a top secret clearance, but I was stationed at a place called Ray Barracks, which is no longer there, and that was formed right after World War II. Crazy part is I met a guy who'd been there since World War II, Asian fellow who was in the army, still lived there. He was the fucking coolest guy I've ever met, dude. Mm-hmm. He did not meet Elvis. Elvis was also stationed here, right? At the Elvis Presley Barracks. But they had a top secret room, Jason, right? Like in a special area at the top of headquarters with the phone. Everything was cut off. They had to have armed guards were there, like live ammo guards, not the fake ones we'd have at the front of it. There's always a guy in the military with the weapon, and I guarantee you there's no ammo in it because you gotta deal with ammo pads and a bunch of shit. But this shit was always guarded. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. If they had come into my room, which they always did random inspections twice a year. And usually it's to find who's got dinnerware from the chow hall, you know? Contraband is what they'd call it. Maybe you got one of those empty shell casings, contraband, you know? If you got something really big like a weapon, you get an Article 15, you get in trouble. If they'd come into my room and I just had a box of top secret fucking documents clearly labeled top secret, you know what I mean? I'm just sitting there eating my fucking Pop-Tart being like, what's the big deal? I swear to fucking Christ, I'd still be in jail to this very day. This is so ridiculous.
I could save Trump a lot of money and tell you how to do it too. So tell me those are top secret. Rob, just tell me.
They're top secret.
I thought it said top secret.
Yeah, I wish. I know, right? Yeah.
Done. That was popcorn.
It came in a full aluminum foil container. I thought it was it's like Jiffy Pop. Like, you know, I just can't. I really want some Jiffy Pop. So this is traitorous, dude. This is a whole level of like literally. This is why they tell you could still be hung according to the UCMJ. Like this is what this is beyond. No civilian, let alone anyone remotely military, has access to that shit, or let alone a box in their fucking room. This is so
I want people to start asking, like, why?
Because he was selling it.
No, we know that's what it's really about.
Right.
But if he's going to say, "Oh, I was trying to write a memo," so you needed stuff about unnamed, military, FBI sources and stuff, CIA sources or whatever it's in there. You needed to know stuff. You had to have stuff with their name so you could tell your story about.
It's like that scene in Andor when he goes, "How did you get this? How did you get this?" He goes, "I had executive privilege. And in my head, I just declassified the Imperial box, and I got the box."
Yeah.
This is so fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. Well, like we were joking about earlier, I don't want anybody to get hurt. But if they're going to go and they're going to start calling out for what they're calling for, I hope those people do show up. Let's just get those people fucking where they need to be. You know what I mean? With their
They're not going to go well, dude. They're not going to go. They all saw 300, and they're all too chicken shit to actually train in sandals and butt naked with a red cape. They all really think they're going to show up and be fucking Captain America. And the reality is they could not fucking hold a Walmart for fucking 6 hours. They couldn't. They can't do anything.
Of January 6th, they got there and didn't know what to do.
They wouldn't, and they won't. Look, this is like, how do I describe this, dude? Like, so there's a level of brainwashing the military does to everyone when you get in. And it's the brainwashing only occurs because there's a consequence if you don't follow along. You know, you're going to go to jail.
Could only wash you if you're a dirty boy.
Yeah, you're going to go to jail, and then when you get out of jail, they're going to make you do it over again. You're never getting out of this, right? Like, you have to understand, like, you don't realize what you signed up for until the first night when you look out that barred, because it's a barred window. It's great. And at least it was where I was in MEPS and in Fort Knox. You look at that barred window, you're like, oh, it's like prison, but I guess I'm getting paid better, you know? Okay, fine. I never cared. But, like, that is what forces people to fucking, like, coordinate, to march in proper fucking line. You know what I mean? To make sure your socks are folded. These guys, and there's a reason why they have military folding, military dress. They have everything is done to a rigid standard so that you're always being indoctrinated. Every day you got a little bit of indoctrination. These guys don't have any form of discipline. Zero discipline. They can't even watch their own calories, Jason. Like they are incapable of I know. Hey, you know what? I've been guilty of it too. And I've had to maintain my discipline this last year, all right? Yeah. And so what will happen is, what is keeping them bound together when real bullets fly? Nothing. They will run. And you see cops go, remember when the New Orleans flood happened, how many cops were like, I ain't signed up for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not bound to stay there.
It happens in Texas with those kids.
And it just happened at a school. I'm not getting shot. You think these guys are nothing is going to, what they're going to probably do, Jason, is they're all going to take their fucking cars and drive them into crowds of people. That's the only move they have. And you need to go look at if you want to see what's coming, go look at the fucking first 24 hours of the Afghan war or the Iraq conflict and see what opposition was doing to our soldiers. And that's the best they got, and they won't last 24 to 48 hours because there's nothing behind it. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And anyone who thinks they can do anything to our military just needs to go look at any other country who felt the same fucking way. Like, unfortunately, we spend $700 fucking billion on our military, and they're really good at blowing shit up from far away. Like, they're not going to show up for your fight. They're just going to fucking send a drone and just kill you and all your family when you're watching Rogue One. Like, they're gonna wait until you don't see it coming.
Yeah, that's why I think that the super crazy automatic weapons argument is complete bullshit, because the drone's just gonna get you.
Automatic weapons only get civilians killed. They're not gonna get the military. Do you think like the Taliban and the Iraqi guard didn't have access to automatic weapons?
Yeah.
That's why they lost. They only had an AR-15, they would have beaten the US military. Single-handedly, one guy. Like, it's ridiculous, dude. This is so fucking dumb. This is all dumb. It is so delusional. It is no different than if I watch The Karate Kid and think, now I can fight Bruce Lee. You know, like, got the crane kick. You know, it's I'm not even doing it right too. You know,
so I got two for you. First is just say I thought it said Pop Secret, and then the second one is just give Bruce Lee some nunchucks and challenge him to a nunchuck fight.
Look, the only one who can defeat Bruce Lee is Brad Pitt. I saw the movie. It's how it went down.
That's true.
And
yeah.
Fuck these cowards, dude. You know, fuck these cowards. They're fucking cowards. They're cowards. They gotta hide behind, instead of a white hood, it's a white mask and khaki shorts. Fucking losers. I look forward to seeing them all fucking murder each other, because they'll murder each other before their elegant murder by our military. They just won't show up. They're fucking cowards. And I know it's a fucking like repeated joke, but just like, I'm just watching this and I watch their stupid little marches. I'm like, this wouldn't pass Hell Week. Like, week 2 in basic training is Hell Week, dude. It's not even a big deal. It's Hell Week. It's not Hell Week. It's just they just gotta move a little faster. You gotta run a little more, eat a little less. So what? Like,
look up
so
at some
what?
Shooting Stars, maybe.
So what, dude? Honestly, I had more stress on Disney Plus Day than I ever did in basic training. Like, oh God, never make me do it again. I would gladly do basic training and a 40-year-old man's body before I ever do Disney Plus Day.
Hold on, I'm looking at myself right now. Jason, thank you for your service.
Jason, thank you for doing it, because I didn't have to do it last week.
Stolen
Thank fucking Christ, I
Valorant.
was in San Francisco in a fugue state.
Oh my god!
Oh, I knew if I bitched enough, we'd get a sexy bot. I knew it. Sexy bot.
They followed us for 5 minutes to do it too, because I have the follow for 5 on. That's the first one to make it through.
I'll block it, but I do miss the sexy bots.
I mean, I'm very pro masturbation, so you didn't really need to block them. But anyways, and hey Johnny, how's it going, Mr. Cadence, Dr. Cadence, Dark Cadence? Sweep the leg.
Hey, what's up?
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Just sweep the leg. I love it when Rob spits hot molten fountains of truth. It's so damn good. And King Chris also says Dark Rob equals correct Rob. That's true.
Yeah, if like the weakest guy, and I was the weakest guy in basic training. Like, you gotta understand how pathetically in shape I was for basic stupid army training, like the stripes training. All right. And I didn't have the body of John Candy, but I was weaker than John Candy. John Candy could do shit on that obstacle course I couldn't do. You got to understand, Jason, it came down the final run to me and the super fat kid. So like, and he was ahead. He was ahead. But at that final stretch, man, that final fucking like Chariots of Fire stretch, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm not passing. And I fucking went right ahead of him and I just beat him by like a second. And he lost by 1 second, and that motherfucker didn't pass. So that's, if a guy that pathetic at basic training is telling you you're pathetic, that's how pathetic you are. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So the point is, those guys couldn't even pass basic training. So that's where we're at.
I wish beyond basic training, like, just to think they're going to take on the military. Look, man, I don't think they're clever enough to fake being sick to get a glimpse at the Phantom Menace trailer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, my take is that I do think that if the people who would try to ultimately destroy democracy are huge cowards that know that their ideas can't stand up, and they can only take it so far until they have to resort to violence. So I think that they will probably, if they were to do anything, it would probably be like cowardly terrorist like attacks, like Oklahoma City bombing kind of stuff. But I would also say, if they're willing,
civilians will suffer.
If they're willing to do, if we are in a place where people are willing to kill people like Oklahoma bombing style over Donald Trump, then Donald Trump is clearly a cancer that we need to deal with. And so if that's,
and also as a cancer is the power structure where they feel emboldened to do whatever they want because they think they're going to be backed up by the law enforcement. Yeah. So that doesn't mean defund the police. That means you got to seriously take a fucking look at how many fucking Klansmen did you put in the cops just so you could fucking fill some numbers game, to continue a larger budget. And this is also why fucking leftists need to fucking stop trying to cancel fucking douchebag right-wingers from coming to their colleges. They need to go there and get them to explain what they actually believe in, get them to go on record on camera saying what they actually believe in, and fucking then tear apart their ideas. Because fucking keeping them off campus just makes them look like they're fucking bigger than they really are. It's ridiculous. I welcome all the douchebags to come on here and argue with me. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bring it. I'm not afraid. Like, it's fine. And if I'm wrong, I'll check myself. But these, as we know, Jason, they're always right. Fascists, they're always right.
Yeah, it's fun times. No one is, but in reality, I think the most likely thing is happens that he will be indicted, and a couple of fucking, like that kid that was like, "Mom, can you drop me off in another state? I want to kill somebody." You got some fucking bastards like that do their bullshit. And
I hold no hope that this guy will ever fucking get in trouble, but it just pisses me off to no fucking end, that I have to sit here and fucking watch a motherfucker have fucking like George Knapp's fucking office full of fucking top secret documents. It looks like George Knapp's, and look, they go, "I didn't put him on the ground. They put him on the ground." Yeah, because they got to show all the fucking boxes of shit you got, asshole. You know what I mean? Like, they got to take you got a boxes of shit, and fucking literally people in fucking the military, if they have one ammo casing in the room, go to fucking, they spend a weekend in jail or get at least dock $500 and have to do extra duty for 2 weeks. This guy's it's just, oh man.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
No. Oh yeah, no, I do not believe for a second that Donald Trump believes in your Christian God or democracy or loves the country. I think he wants to be a Russian oligarch, and like I always say, fucking Trump Russia wasn't fake. He was not exonerated. That didn't happen. He's still that guy. That didn't change. In fact, we're just seeing what he was going to originally do with whatever he could have done originally, which was just try to make a bunch of money off of the fucking situation. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. He's a sociopath.
Right. Yeah, and that's why he had those documents, to make some money off it, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
You know, he didn't have to sell them. He could just be like, you can look at them, or I'll tell you what's in it. Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope that guy dies of a colonoscopy, dude, because he just ate too much paper. You know, he eats the fucking secrets and shit. I just want him to fucking, like, that's how I want him to go. You know, he tries to chew and he chokes on one of his stupid fucking notes.
I want his dick to fall off from ink poisoning.
I can never see Toad from Mario Kart ever again because that fucking dude. He's ruined Mario Kart, Jason.
Ruined Mario Kart. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for letting us say it. We said it. We did it. We made a whole 2 hour and 10 minutes off of a poster. We did it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for the super chats, for being channel members and Patreon supporters, allowing me to do the show. I do appreciate it. And we'll end with this today.
To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and it's a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
Everyone,
it's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.